Okay, so we are going to start with I mean, didn't you just graduate from high school? How are you about to graduate college as well?
So I was blessed that my school did a dual credit program in high school, and I was able to take it for 4 years. So I graduated from high school and San Jacinto College in the same weekend. So then when I came to Howard that fall, I was already a junior. So I was able to complete my bachelor's in 2 years as well.
Wow. And then you completed your bachelor's with honors. Tell us about that.
It was great. I did get both honors that my college at Howard offers. So I graduated summa cum laude with my GPA. In a pandemic, that was extremely difficult, not having the resources and support system that I have on campus. So I'm blessed that my family was so supportive. And then I also graduated from Howard's College of Arts and Sciences honors program. And that was after producing a 40-page thesis that I cried over. I don't know how you write books, because let me tell you that 40 pages knocked out. And I wrote that about the the tools that administrators use in schools to keep Black girls out of school, whether that be through suspension, expulsions, detentions, anything that keeps Black girls from being educated the same amount as their peers. So that was my thesis was on. I'm so happy. Like I submitted it and I cried for like 40 minutes after. And I was like, Mom, why am I crying? It's done. She's like, you're okay. I was like, it was just so much work.
Well, I'm going to come back to that because I'm actually working on a story on that. So I want to hear more about that. Mm-hmm. But tell me, what was the most challenging part for you, especially doing all of this during a pandemic?
Most challenging, I mean, I think it was just the loss. I think the last 2 years for so many people through COVID, through just life and old age, we've all suffered so many losses. And it's almost like you don't have time to mourn. And I know that can be very emotionally draining. And I don't even just mean like loss of people in your life, but just loss of dreams, goals, loss of a quality graduation, things that we've been looking forward to for years. People are pushing back their weddings and like those kinds of things. It just really gets down on you and you're just like, I need something to look forward to. So I think that was the hardest part, was just taking it on the chin and making sure that you kept your head up, for sure.
Yeah. And so you'll hear people sometimes, when young people like yourself complain about loss of prom and loss of hanging out with friends, you'll hear people say, well, there are people dying, so stop complaining. What do you say to those people? Because to me, that's a loss as well.
Absolutely. Especially like this class of 2020, class of 2021, who really just gave up their high school years. It's really important to note that like this is a goodbye that almost everyone is given. And you get to say bye to your friends and really have that closure, and lack of closure hurts. And I would tell those people that feelings are valid. Sometimes I don't think people should be sad about things and whatnot, but those are their feelings and they're entitled to that. So just making sure we're respectful of people, because you don't know what that meant to someone. So yes, when you see someone complaining about, oh, I'm missing my graduation day, it may seem really superficial, but you don't know that child's story. You don't know if that they're a first generation student. They're the first person in their family, and they thought they were going to walk across the stage with pride, point out to Nana in the crowd, and now they get a slide on a PowerPoint. Like it's definitely okay to not be okay. And I think that's something we all have to understand, and just make sure like we come together as a community, because we all have different kinds of hurts and things we've lost out on these past couple of years.
What is your advice to young people that are still in school now, going through COVID, and just to kind of follow in your footsteps? I mean, this is an amazing program you were part of. What would be your advice to young people?
Honestly, just try everything. My goal in life, while I was at Howard, I knew I was going to be there for 2 years, was when I walk across the stage, as I thought I was, right? My goal was to not have any regrets. I tried any and everything. I remember I went to this random club meeting, and apparently it was for students born in Africa. And I was like, I was not born in Africa. I'm not even supposed to be here. They were like, stay, have fun. And, I just tried anything, any cool flyers I saw on campus. I was like, that sounds fun. I'll go. And, I ended up different places. The movie that I used to base my thesis off of is called Push Out. I went to this filming and it was a really small crowd, but I was able to meet the lady who wrote the book, the movie, just by just keeping my mind open to things. So I was like, don't knock it till you try it. I joined mock trial at Howard. I'd never heard of mock trial before I came to Howard, and I ended up being an award-winning attorney and witness just because I tried it. So definitely just take all that life has to offer you, because you never know when you might have that opportunity again.
Okay. What is it you want to do? What is next for you?
Right now, I'm currently running a franchise for my own business, Vector Marketing. I'm really excited about that because, it's just so exciting that the company, my bosses, the leadership has trusted me that I'm going to be running a franchise for $250 million company at 18. And that is, I think it's the coolest thing ever. I'm so excited. I love being a team leader. I've always loved just encouraging people. I'm like, my friends, like, that's what I'm known for. I'm like everyone's biggest cheerleader. I'm like, I love just getting to pour into other people's, because I know that it's just the best feeling in the world. After that, this year I'm taking a break, a year off. I know I needed it. The pandemic was, I just want to take a year to just recuperate and do a bunch of things. I really want to get back into community service. So I'm going to be pursuing the Presidential Lifetime Service Award. I already have 2 President's Volunteer Service Awards, but I want the Lifetime, which is 2,000 community service hours. I'm going to be starting working on that for this next year. And just trying to do different things that life offers. I'm learning how to play the guitar. My mom and I are very competitive on Duolingo. I'm trying to get better at Spanish. Just little things like that. But the goal is to go to graduate school and pursue a master's in public policy, social work, or in business administration with a focus in nonprofit management. Because my end and lifetime goal is to have a nonprofit that increases college readiness and professional development opportunities for incarcerated youth and foster care children and other marginalized youth. Just making sure they have the opportunities that I was blessed with, such a large village that I had helped. Because I was just talking to someone today, like FAFSA, as a first generation American, that was very difficult to do. Like, it seems simple, but my parents were like, we're smart people. My mom's like, I'm a college educated woman, and we couldn't figure out the FAFSA, right? So making sure that for kids who have someone, and that I can help them with SAT prep books and getting those things that we know can keep Black and brown faces out of classrooms post-graduation. So that's my end goal.
That is so awesome. So you have just this energy and this spirit and this dedication and motivation. Where does that all come from?
I mean, I definitely give credit to my creator. I definitely God-fearing young woman, but also my parents are just exceptional people. My goal in life was to skip 3 grades because my mom skipped 2, but I ended up skipping 2 as well. But I mean, the amount of love my parents have poured into me, I'm so grateful. People always like, you skipped, 2 grades in elementary, like your parents must be like helicopter parents. I'm like, no, not at all. My mom, she's like, if I wanted to do something and I had an assignment that day, she goes, handle your business. Like, don't be upset if you can't do it all. But just having that support, it really made me just have a sense of invincibility when it came to pursuing my dreams. I was never like, oh, I don't think my parents will let me do this. My mom let me pick a school wherever I want in the country. She just asked that someone be able to reach me in case of an emergency. And just having that support made me fearless in all that I did. And it just makes me excited to keep pursuing, because I know I always have my parents whenever anything happens.
So that's a good, that I see a lot of people would say your parents had to just make you study nonstop. It sounds like they just that drive was in you and they let you flourish.
No, I'm definitely a competitive person. If I see something I want, I say, okay, what can I do to get to it? I'll make some steps and I'm go at it. I'll tell my parents, like, this is what I want to do. And they're like, you got it, girl. My parents, no, I remember like being in school, people's parents were like, oh, if you get a bad grade, I'll take your phone. My parents were never, they're like, if you get a bad grade, you need to get your grade out. That was the thing. And just having that, I think it helped because like many teenagers, when my parents tell me to do something, it's like, oh, now I don't know if I want to do it. But I was lucky that they just were there as a support system and never forced me to do anything I didn't want to do, which I'm really, really grateful for.
Wonderful. So can you tell us what you're graduating with or what GPA you're finishing with?
Yes, I don't know my GPA off the top of my head. I can look for you. I'm getting my BA in political science at Howard University, summa cum laude, with a minor in sociology and
just a roundabout.
Oh,
just
yeah.
a roundabout. Yeah.
I think it's a 3.9 about, yeah.
Wow. And so are you debt free? Did you have scholarships?
Yes, ma'am. I didn't get a full ride from Howard. They covered tuition, but I was blessed through a bunch of Houston organizations that I was able to find scholarships. And I think that was so helpful in just worrying about school. I never had to worry about a job. I never had to, I was, as I mentioned, on mock trial. I'd get out of practice 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. I did not have time I couldn't have done a job and kept the grades that I did. So I'm really, really grateful that I was able to graduate debt-free with the help of scholarships. Yes.
So what would be your advice to parents and to students right now in the class of 2020 that's looking for scholarships, especially during the time of COVID?
My number one tip is don't snub your nose at small scholarships. Definitely spend a lot of time on those $100, $300, $500 because they add up. They add up because everybody wants to apply for the big 10 grand and the 50 grand and the 5 grand. And those scholarships are fantastic. But if 30 people snub their nose at the $150 scholarship, it actually makes it a little bit easier to get those. And there's way more small scholarships. So just applying those, have certain weekends that you mark on the calendar. You're like, that's just a scholarship you get. And you may not get them all. You may not get any. I've had several weekends where it's like, just nope, we declined. You get those emails. But if you keep persevering, it will work. If you are passionate about your dreams and you're able to convey that in your stories and your essays, people do feel inclined to share and believe and motivate and invest in you as well. So people, they're like, oh, I just don't think I can get a scholarship. There's no scholarships. There are plenty. You have to look. I got a Pasadena Strawberry Festival scholarship. There's so many things you can do. You just have to look, be dedicated to yourself and believe in your dreams because it's a job. Scholarships are just like any other occupation. You want to do it for income. So make sure you dedicate just as much time. You can't apply to 2 scholarships a month and then hope your school's just paid off. You really have to commit to it.
Okay. That is so awesome. You are wonderful. Are you going to stay in DC or are you coming home?
I am a Houston girl. There's something about these DC taxes. I couldn't do it. But I'm currently staying in DC for this entire month. I have my fraternity's charter day at the end of the month. So I'm staying till then with my line brother. And after that, I'm returning to Houston and I'm opening my office this summer in Sugar Land for my business. So I'm really excited.
So what will the business be? What is it?
So I'm working with Vector Marketing and I'm opening one of their branch managers. I started with the company last year and ended up doing really well. I thought I was going to do it for a weekend and I ended up being number 12 or 15 in the entire company scholarship race this past summer. And then I was 89th in regional sales for the entire company, like with the millionaires. So I was like really happy. I really enjoy getting to work and just talk to people. I've never met a stranger, as I like to say. So it's really fun just getting to share with people and be a part of people's lives.
What does the company do?
So Vector